Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters. PGL Milncraft here to give you guys another game. This is going to be a best of 3 between AT and Darkforce because he's so evil or whatever. And HasuOBS, which is Mouse HasuOBS in this. He's teammates to Mouse Maro, for those of you who don't know. Now, just like to talk about these players a little bit. HasuOBS is known mostly for his unconventional play as Protoss. Most Protoss players like to go for Colossus and rely on Colossus and protecting the Colossus from things like Corruptors as part of their strategy, but HasuOBS prefers to go for things like High Templar, and he's also he's known a lot for his micromanagement, especially with like Blink Stalkers and other Protoss forces. Now, Darkforce, on the other hand, Darkforce, similarly, as I said, they're both from Germany. So, your fellow Germany, they both like to use Deutschmarks, although now it's Euros, which are not nearly as impressive. But anyway, Darkforce he's a very good player as well. He's a, relatively standard Zerg player. He is in the North American Star League currently. He's competing, and looks like that probe's going to go ahead and start tasing that building. It's going to take a while, though. That building's probably not going to go down to those little zaps from the probe. But, it's something to keep the probe busy. You don't want the probe, if you don't give the probe anything to do, he's just going to go, like, slack off. He's going to go ahead and like, get in trouble and so on. So you got to keep him busy. And actually, he did go ahead and decide to start tasing that drone instead. We see the spawning pool first. Darkforce knows that he's not going to be able to get the hatchery down, and also it's relatively dangerous on this map to be able to go for expansion first, because your natural is first of all right here, which is which is facing your opponent actually. So it causes you to, like, if you put your expansion here, your opponent's actually closer to it. It brings your opponent closer to you, which is easier to attack. Whereas, like, if he was over here, for example, then his natural expansion would be below him and not headed towards his opponent, so it's easier to defend against. But this situation, under these positions, it's easier for him to go ahead and go and get the spawning pool first. And it's not too bad for your economy because you get an earlier queen. Well, certainly it is a little bit of a disadvantage for you. Now we see a relatively standard opening on the part of HasuOBS, who's now just going to lay down his cybernetics core, and he's going to get is now just laying down his cybernetics core, and he's going to. And oh my goodness, we see the drone taking a bunch of hits. Oh, he's down to 6 health. He's got to be real careful. Make sure not to lose that drone. That'd be pretty embarrassing to lose a drone. But these Zerglings are going to come out now. They're going to chase the probe array and maybe kill the probe as well. He's actually getting 6 Zerglings, which is more than normal. Oh my goodness, is he going to get that kill? Oh, you need to stop him. Oh, he's just going to ring around the rosy. This is, I don't know if everyone's ever played Duck Duck Goose. In Minnesota, we actually call it Duck Duck Grey Duck, which is the rightful name of it. Makes a lot more sense. Don't know what this Duck Duck Goose nonsense is. But anyway, that's exactly the game that they were playing, and the probe lost, so now it gets killed by Zerglings, which is how you play it in the StarCraft universe, of course. A couple of Zerglings are going to stop at the watchtower. That one doesn't want to stop, but he got trapped by his buddy, and so he's going to decide to go back home. And is the probe going to make it back? If he clicks on the minerals, he can just zoop right through the zealot. For those of you who don't know, if you click on the minerals, your workers can actually just go ahead and go right through units that are attacking, and the drones could try to do the same thing. And oh my goodness, the drone gets out of there! 1 health point. 1 health point left on the drone, and he's able to skedaddle, float through the zealot by right-clicking on some mineral patches somewhere, and able to sneak on out of there. Oh my goodness. That drone's lucky to be alive. Man, if he better, like, treasure every moment in his life, because he's not getting any more chances, like that was his thing. We see actually, Inject Larva was not the first thing that Darkforce decided to do with his queen. He actually got a creep tumor, which a lot of Zerg players are starting to do now. Before it was like Inject Larva, Inject Larva, Inject Larva. But now you want Zerg players are realizing that you want to start the creep tunnel going towards your opponent, and also, extremely importantly, you need to connect your hatcheries with creep. This is especially important for queen defense against things like void rays, so that both queens can be firing at the same void ray at the same time. So you want to be able to keep your creep moving, which is why they're willing to, instead of you just getting a third queen and having the third queen do all of it, or waiting until the energy that you accumulate from missing the timings. Because for those of you who don't know, if you time it so that whenever this hatchery, which by the way, I don't know if you know this little timer on the bottom of the hatchery will tell you when it's about to inject larva is about to go. But it takes those exact 40 seconds for him to get to 25, or the queen to get to 25 energy to inject into the larva. So if you do it on time, the queen actually will never accumulate additional energy. But anyway, so instead of just waiting for energy to accumulate from missing your injections, them being a little bit late and then eventually accumulate enough energy to do a creep tumor, or from getting a third queen, a lot of Zerg players now are just skipping one of their injections and actually just going to go ahead and grab the creep tumor so they can keep moving creep. I'm sure he's going to place it up here. Yep. He's going to keep moving creep, and right now he's got a little bit of protection against void rays. Meanwhile, HasuOBS is going for relatively, it's not super early expansion, it's a 3-gate expansion, I believe. Yep, 3-gate expansion. Fairly standard. He also got a forge on the bottom now. They're speaking German. I don't actually speak German, but I'm pretty sure he is smack-talking. He just called his opponent a loser who has no friends. Yep, fairly certain that's what they said, just based off of my inkling. This is a very typical opening for the Zerg player. It looks like, however, that Darkforce is actually gearing up for a huge attack. Look at that, 20 Zerglings were being built at the same time. If we look at the units, oh my goodness, 21 Zerglings, 11 Roaches. If HasuOBS does not realize this is coming, he is going to have a very, very difficult time dealing with this, even with these 2 photon cannons. It's not going to matter. They're going to the Zerg player is just going to chew right through that and destroy it. Moves forward. It's a good force field, able to keep the Zerglings out. It's not going to help the rest of his base, though, from those Roaches, which are about to eat both of those cannons. But the force fields have come off. Needs a little wall of force fields. Oh, nope, not quite. There you go. Perfect. Limit the surface area from the Zerglings, but allow himself to come out so he can fight the Roaches just a little bit. Actually, we're going to double-click on these so we can see the warp timings. He's got 1 available, 1 warp gate available. And actually, he's doing a good job holding this off. It looks like those drones are going to go ahead inside. He's going to wall off the ramp. Oh, though. Walling off the ramp is dangerous because now he can't defend the outside, so you can lose the pylons, but not only the pylons, the nexus. If he loses the nexus, the game is as good as over. Like, he's not going to be able to come back economically from that unless he's able to just all in his opponent. You see that he just got an immortal. It's going to be very effective against these Roaches. Obviously because immortals do 50 damage, and also because Roaches only do their 10 damage as the hardened shields from the immortal actually reduces that. Looks like the Roaches are just moving forward. That Zergling probably shouldn't have been so brave. You never want to be the first one charging down those hills. And actually he felt safe enough to be able to bring his probes back. HasuOBS, that is. Oh, and so now the Zerglings are going to go ahead and get in there. Okay, there. Now he's going to force field them. Very good force fields. Part of the placement of force fields is knowing which way units are going to go. Those probes are hiding in the back of the base. They're scared to death right now that something's going to happen to them. And actually, you do not want to let your army get separated by that. You need to be able to focus down one of the immortals. However, these other immortals are doing a lot of damage to these forces. And it looks like he's actually, HasuOBS is able to turn this around. There's a lot of Roaches stuck down here, though. Oh, he does not want to be fighting piecemeal. He needs to combine all of his army. Now I'm sure he noticed all these Roaches sitting around. He's just kicking himself. If we go to Units tab, we see the Protoss players a little bit ahead on probes. And, in fact, I think definitely HasuOBS came out ahead after that attack, even though that attack did a decent amount of damage and killed some units. If we go to the Unit Lost tab, actually, let's go to the Unit Lost. Oh, where is it? This must be an older... Yeah, sorry about that. This is an older replay. I probably should have mentioned. It came before the new features, so it means warp gate timings are a little bit different. Not too much of an effect in this matchup, though. Like the warp gate timings affected if you were to do something like a 4-gate, for example, but because he's not doing that, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Also, it's possible that infestors don't have their bonus, but I think this is probably after that patch. I'll look into it for the next match and let you guys know. But anyway, HasuOBS I think definitely came ahead on that. If we go to the here unit loss tab, we do see that in fact, well, 94 units lost, but 3,025. A lot of those were Zerglings. Minerals and gas lost versus 2650. That's a difference of about 400. And it looks like HasuOBS is going to go ahead and start going through these rocks. Then probably is going to try to go through these rocks as well, and just go ahead and march on right up to the middle into Darkforce's base. The reason they want to go through these caverns and not around is because through these caverns there's a lot less surface area, which the Zerg player wants as much surface area as possible in his attack. You see that HasuOBS isn't even going for Colossus. He's just getting a bunch of Immortals. First of all, part of the reason for that is he saw that his opponent was Roach heavy, and Immortals are quite good against Roaches. But also, Colossus require a significant amount of attack to be able to tech up to, which is kind of dangerous to kind of jump to, especially when you're on the... Oh my goodness, great force fields trapping those units. That force field not so great, letting the Zerglings in. However, still, like, look at all those Roaches that were unable to escape. All these other Roaches in the back were unable to fight. That was a great way to be able to divide his enemy force. The Immortals were able to focus down. Look at the kills of these Immortals. 9 kills, 4 kills, 4 kills. There's a lot of damage that's being done by the Immortals, and it looks like HasuOBS actually might just kill his opponent on this attack. However, there are a lot of Zerglings coming. But HasuOBS was able to tech up to Colossus. He's got ground level 1s and Thermal Lances on the way, and oh my goodness, he might just be able to... Yeah... He might be able to just focus this down. Oh, nope, he's going to back off a little bit. He's going to deal with these Zerglings, and I think he's going to just take out this... I think he's just going to take out this hatchery, and he's just going to win. And Darkforce is going to go ahead and GG out of this game. Alright, this is PG on Milncraft signing off. Let's move on to Game 2. See you later, StarCrafters.